Ladies and gentlemen, lean in for just a moment because what I'm about to share with you has the power to shift the entire trajectory of your life and your business. I want you to imagine, what if the very thing holding you back wasn't your circumstances, wasn't your lack of resources, but the limitations you've been allowing in your own thinking? See, most people don't fail because they don't have the talent. They fail because they never learn the rules of winning. And today, I'm going to give you the framework, the blueprint, the mindset that will help you win, not just survive, but win in life and in business. When we talk about winning in life and business, the very first thing you must understand is that victory begins in the invisible before it manifests in the visible. It starts in your mind long before it shows up in your circumstances. If you think defeat, you will live defeated. If you think victory, you will live victorious. That is not some feel-good theory. It is a law. Your mind is the seed bed where the harvest of your future is planted. You cannot expect to reap abundance from seeds of doubt, fear, and negativity. The battlefield is not out there in the marketplace. It is not out there in the competition. It is not out there in the challenges life throws at you. The real battlefield is between your ears. And if you can win there, you can win anywhere. Consider this: every major achievement that has ever been created, every invention that has shaped humanity, every breakthrough in business or science started in the mind of a person who dared to believe it was possible. They had no proof. They had no guarantee, but they had an unshakable conviction. That conviction shaped their actions, and those actions created results. You have the exact same potential. The only question is, are you willing to think like a winner before you see the evidence of winning? Because most people wait for proof to believe, but winners believe before the proof shows up. That belief is the fuel that pulls proof into existence. Here's the hook: you can never live consistently in a manner that is inconsistent with the way you see yourself. If you see yourself as average, you will perform in an average way. If you see yourself as a person created for greatness, you will begin to make decisions, take actions, and position yourself in a way that reflects that greatness, it's not arrogance, it's alignment. You are aligning your behavior with your belief system. This is why so many people set goals and fail to reach them. It's not because the goal is impossible, but because their self-image doesn't match the level of that goal. You can't expect $1 million outcome with a minimum wage mindset. Think about the difference between a thermostat and a thermometer. A thermometer only reports the temperature. It tells you what is. But a thermostat sets the temperature. It determines what will be. Most people are living like thermometers, just reflecting their environment, their upbringing, their circumstances, their past failures. Winners live like thermostats. They set the environment, they set the standard, they dictate the temperature of their life and business. That's the difference. You have to stop waiting for your environment to change and start being the one who changes it. Now, let me make it practical. If you want to start winning in life, you need to train your mind daily. Feed it with ideas that stretch you, with information that grows you, with affirmations that align you with victory. What you allow into your mind becomes the material your life is built from. Garbage in, garbage out. But greatness in, greatness out. Winners are intentional about protecting their minds because they know everything else flows from it. You don't allow people to dump trash in your living room, so why do you allow them to dump negativity in your mind? Guard it like the treasure it is. And here's the challenge for you: stop rehearsing your limitations and start rehearsing your possibilities. Stop telling yourself what you can't do and start affirming what you can do. Every time you say, I can't, you close the door on opportunity. Every time you say, I can, you open the door for solutions, strategies, and resources to find their way to you. Life responds to your declarations. If you declare defeat, you attract defeat. If you declare victory, you attract opportunities that align with that declaration. So let me leave you with this thought. To stir your soul, the world does not see you as you are. The world sees you as you see yourself. If you walk into life and business believing you're a winner, you will show up with confidence, courage, and clarity. That energy will be felt. It will open doors. It will attract partnerships, and it will create momentum. But if you walk in believing you're not enough, that energy will repel opportunity. It will shrink your presence, and it will sabotage your results. Winning starts in your mind because your mind is the blueprint for your future. Change the way you think, and you change the way you live. Intentions are wonderful, but they don't move the needle. Everyone has good intentions. Everyone has dreams. Everyone has things they would love to do if the timing was right. But the truth is, life doesn't reward intentions. It rewards execution. Action will always beat intention. You don't get paid for what you meant to do. You don't get rewarded for the dreams you keep locked away in your imagination. You only get rewarded for the work you are willing to put into motion. That is why so many people live in frustration. They carry inside of them massive potential. They have ideas that could change their lives. They have strategies that could revolutionize their businesses, but they never get beyond the planning stage. They wait, and while they wait, time passes, opportunities slip away, and regret takes the place of results. Here's the hook: you will never feel fully ready, so stop waiting for the perfect time. Winners understand that perfection is the enemy of progress. If you wait for the perfect moment to act, you will never act because perfect conditions don't exist. The successful people you see out there didn't start because they had everything figured out. They started and figured it out as they went. They didn't wait for the ideal moment. They made the moment ideal by showing up and doing the work. That's what separates dreamers from doers. Dreamers sit around and talk about what they're going to do someday. Doers take bold action today. Think about it. Every opportunity has an expiration date. Every seed has a season. If you plant it too late, the harvest never comes. In life and business, when you hesitate, when you procrastinate, when you let fear dictate your decisions, you are robbing yourself of the season that could have brought your breakthrough. Action is the proof of belief. If you truly believe in your dream, you will take action on it. If you say you believe, but you never act, what you really have is a wish, not a belief. Winners prove their faith by their works. Let's make it practical. Every time you act, even if it's a small step, you build momentum. Momentum is the invisible force that multiplies your results. A small action creates a small win, and that small win builds confidence. That confidence fuels bigger action, which creates bigger results, and suddenly you're in motion. That's how breakthroughs happen, not in one giant leap, but in the consistent steps of action that compound over time. And here's the beauty: momentum will carry you further than motivation ever could. Motivation is temporary, it's an emotion. Momentum is a force. Once you create it, it keeps working for you. Now let me challenge you. How many times have you said, I'll start tomorrow? How many opportunities have you talked yourself out of because the timing didn't feel right? Every time you delay, you're not just postponing progress, you're training yourself to hesitate. And hesitation is a habit, just like action is a habit. The more you hesitate, the more natural it becomes. But the more you act, the more natural that becomes. Winners make a habit of taking action even when they don't feel ready. And as a result, they create results that hesitant people only dream about. So what does this mean for you? It means you've got to stop treating action like an optional extra. Action is not optional if you want to win. It is the price of admission to the life you want. Don't just write down goals. Write down the next action step. Don't just talk about building a business, make the call, send the email, launch the product. Don't just say you're going to get healthier, put on your shoes and take the walk. Small, consistent actions will beat massive, inconsistent intentions every time. Here's the final hook to burn into your heart. You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. Your dream doesn't need another plan, another excuse, another delay. It needs movement. It needs you to act now. Winners understand this truth, and that's why they win. They act their way into success while everyone else keeps intending their way into failure. If you want to rise above average in life and in business, you have to stop thinking about what you want to sell and start thinking about what people desperately need solved. People are not buying your product, your service, or your idea. They are buying a solution to a problem that's been keeping them stuck, frustrated, or in pain. And here's the undeniable truth. The size of the problem you solve determines the size of the rewards you receive. Solve small problems, and you'll get paid small. Solve bigger problems, and the marketplace will pay you big. That's not just business. That's life. The world doesn't reward effort. It rewards effectiveness. Now, here's the hook. People don't wake up in the morning thinking, I wonder what product I can buy today. They wake up thinking, how do I fix this issue that's stressing me out? How do I make my life easier, better, more enjoyable? If your business, your career, or your personal brand doesn't position itself as the answer to those questions, then you'll always be competing in the noisy race to the bottom. But when you frame yourself as the problem solver, you stand out, you create value, and you command attention and income. People will cross oceans for a solution, but they won't cross the street for a product they don't see as relevant. Let's make it personal. If you want to win, start asking yourself, what problem do I solve and who do I solve it for? Don't just chase money. Chase impact. Because when you solve a real problem, money follows impact like a shadow. The mistake too many people make is they focus on features, on the technical details, on what they think makes their offer amazing. But the customer doesn't care about the features. They care about the outcome. They want to know, will this take away my pain? Will this give me back my time? Will this help me win? The person who answers those questions most clearly will always win the business. Here's another hook that most people miss: the bigger the problem, the smaller the competition. Most people are scared to tackle big problems because big problems look intimidating. But big problems are where the big money is. Average thinkers look for easy wins. Extraordinary thinkers look for meaningful wins. If you're willing to tackle what others avoid, you'll rise to a level where very few can compete. That's why leaders of billion-dollar companies don't get paid for the hours they work. They get paid for the problems they solve. Think about it. The person who invents a cure for a disease will never worry about money again. The person who creates a technology that saves businesses billions will never lack clients. The person who helps families restore broken relationships will always have influence. People are desperate for answers, And the person who positions themselves as the solution is the one who gets rewarded. The problem is your opportunity. The pain point is your platform. The challenge in the marketplace is your chance to step up and create impact. Now let's bring this down to you. Stop saying nobody's buying and start asking, what problem can I solve that people are already willing to pay for? Stop focusing on the noise of competition and focus on creating value that makes you indispensable. Winners don't wait for customers. They attract them by being the answer customers are already searching for. And when you become the answer, you never have to chase success. Success chases you. So let me challenge you to look around your life and business with new eyes. Where do you see people frustrated? Where do you see them wasting time, wasting money, or living in pain? That is your opportunity. Step into it. Own it. Solve it. And remember, this products may get ignored, but solutions never do. The minute you shift your mindset from selling to solving, from pushing your idea to pulling people toward the results they want, you begin to unlock levels of success you never thought possible. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the fire that keeps burning when the spark fades away. You can get excited at a seminar. You can get inspired after reading a book. You can feel unstoppable after hearing a powerful message. But if you don't build discipline, that excitement will evaporate the moment life gets hard. Winners understand this truth. Discipline is the bridge between the dream in your heart and the results in your hands. Without it, dreams remain fantasy. With it, dreams become reality. Here's the hook. You will never always feel motivated, but you can always choose to be disciplined. Discipline is not about feelings, it's about decisions. Motivation asks, do I feel like doing it? Discipline declares, I'll do it whether I feel like it or not. That's why disciplined people look like they have superpowers. They're not more talented, they're not more gifted, but they are more consistent. They show up when others give up. They stay the course when others get distracted. They build habits that turn into momentum, and that momentum turns into mastery. Think about this in business. The market doesn't care if you were tired, if you weren't in the mood, if you had a rough week. Results are measured by output, not excuses. A disciplined entrepreneur makes the calls when they don't want to. They study the numbers when they'd rather relax. They push through discomfort because they know the reward lies on the other side of consistency. And over time, their discipline compounds. Just like money compounds, when you invest it, actions compound when you repeat them with discipline. The little things you do every day without fail become the big breakthroughs you experience down the road. Discipline is also what separates those who talk about goals from those who actually achieve them. How many people do you know who said they were going to lose weight, write a book, start a business, or change their life, but never followed through? They weren't bad people. They simply lacked the discipline to keep going after the excitement wore off. Winners don't wait for perfect conditions. Winners don't quit when it gets boring. Winners don't negotiate with their commitments. They understand that discipline is not punishment, it is freedom. Because when you are disciplined, you don't become a slave to your impulses, your emotions, or your circumstances. You become the master of your outcomes. Here's another hook. Discipline isn't just about what you do. It's about what you refuse to do. Every yes requires 1,000 no's. If you want to win in life and business, you must discipline yourself to say no to distractions, no to excuses, no to shortcuts that compromise your standards. Average people chase comfort. Winners chase commitment. The more disciplined you are in the short term, the more freedom you experience in the long term. That's why disciplined people seem lucky. Their so-called luck is nothing more than the harvest of seeds planted through consistent action. Make this practical. If you set aside just 1 hour every day with unwavering discipline to build your dream, you'd accumulate 365 focused hours in a year. That's more than 9 full work weeks dedicated to your future. Imagine the transformation that level of consistency would bring. Yet most people never commit because they underestimate the power of small, disciplined steps. They look for massive overnight success and miss the magic of daily discipline. Winners understand that small hinges swing big doors. So I want you to ask yourself, where in your life do you need to build discipline? Is it in your habits? Is it in your health? Is it in your business routines? Wherever it is, start today, start small, and stay consistent. Don't let your emotions decide your actions. Let your decisions drive your actions. Because the truth is, discipline will do for you what motivation never could. It will keep you moving forward when excitement fades. It will carry you through the storm when enthusiasm dies. And it will turn you into the kind of person who not only dreams about winning, but actually lives it. Wealth is not just measured in dollars and possessions. True wealth is measured in the quality of your relationships. You can build the biggest empire, you can make the largest fortune, but if you are bankrupt in your relationships, you are poor in the areas that matter most. Winners understand that life is not a solo sport. It's a team game. Who you walk with determines how far you go. The right relationships can open doors money can't buy, while the wrong relationships can close doors you could never open on your own. Here's the hook. Your network is not just your net worth. Your network is your lifeline. The people you allow into your circle influence your thinking, your energy, your decisions, and ultimately your destiny. If you surround yourself with complainers, you will soon find yourself complaining. If you surround yourself with dreamers, you will start dreaming bigger. If you surround yourself with doers, your actions will rise to match theirs. It's impossible to stay small when you consistently rub shoulders with people who think big. That's why winners are intentional about who they allow close to them. They understand that relationships are either propellers that push you forward or anchors that hold you back. Think about your family. What good is it to achieve wealth if you lose the people who love you? Success that costs you your marriage, your children, or your closest bonds is not success. It's failure dressed in disguise. The people closest to you should never feel like they are competing with your ambition. When you win, they should feel like they're winning with you. True wealth is when your relationships are flourishing while your business is thriving. Balance doesn't mean giving equal time. It means giving appropriate attention. Winners don't just build empires. They build homes filled with love, trust, and respect. Now, let's look at this in business. Relationships with clients, mentors, and partners are priceless. One strong connection can accelerate your growth faster than years of effort on your own. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. And trust is built through relationships. You can have the best product, the sharpest marketing, and the most polished presentation. But if people don't trust you, they won't buy from you. On the other hand, when you've invested in genuine relationships, people will support you, follow you, and do business with you because they believe in you. Here's another hook: relationships multiply opportunities. One introduction, one recommendation, one referral can change your entire trajectory. But you can't expect to reap from relationships you never invested in. Too many people approach networking like takers. always asking, always extracting, never giving. Winners approach relationships with the mindset of value. They ask, how can I serve? How can I help? How can I make a difference for this person? Because they know when you sell into people without keeping score, the harvest comes back multiplied. Relationships are also a form of accountability. The right people won't let you settle for mediocrity. They will challenge you, stretch you, and call you out when you're falling short of your potential. Everyone needs people in their life who can tell them the truth even when it hurts, because those are the voices that keep you aligned with your purpose. Without accountability, talent gets wasted, potential gets buried, and dreams get delayed. Winners welcome accountability because they understand it is a gift, not a burden. So ask yourself, who are you connected to? Who do you need to release? And who do you need to pursue? Sometimes your next level doesn't come from working harder. It comes from connecting with the right person. But you have to be courageous enough to cut ties with relationships that drain you. You cannot soar like an eagle if you insist on flocking with turkeys. Protect your circle, because your circle will shape your future. At the end of the day, money may fade, possessions may pass, but the impact you make on people and the love you share with those closest to you will last far beyond your lifetime. That is the kind of wealth that outlives you. That is the kind of success that echoes through generations. Winners know that relationships are wealth, and they treat them like the priceless treasures they are. Excuses are the silent killers of dreams. They come disguised as logic, wrapped in reason, and delivered with just enough comfort to make you believe they're valid. But every time you embrace an excuse, you delay your destiny. Every time you choose to rationalize instead of act, you're handing over your power to circumstances that don't deserve to control you. Winners understand that excuses and success can't live in the same space. You have to choose one. You either feed your excuses or you feed your execution, but you can not do both. Here's the hook: excuses feel good in the moment, but they cost you in the long run. Execution may feel hard in the moment, but it pays you for the rest of your life. Most people never rise to greatness not because they lack talent, because they've mastered the art of explaining why they haven't taken action yet. They say things like, I'll start when the timing is right, or I don't have enough resources, or I'm too busy. The truth is, those are not reasons. They're excuses dressed up as reasons. Winners face the exact same obstacles, but instead of using them as excuses, they use them as fuel. They say, I'll start now because the timing will never be perfect, or I'll find a way to get the resources, or I'll make time because my future depends on it. Think about this in your own life. Every excuse you've ever made gave you a temporary escape, but stole from your long-term vision. Excuses trade progress for comfort. They convince you that it's safer to stay the same than to risk stepping out. But here's the reality: safety is an illusion. Playing it safe has never built wealth, never created freedom, never changed the world. Execution is what transforms lives. Execution is what builds empires. Execution is what separates the ones who talk from the ones who walk. Winners don't wait for conditions to align. They align their actions with their commitments. They understand that execution creates clarity. Most people think they need clarity before they act, but the truth is clarity comes from acting. You don't figure out the whole map before you take the first step. You take the first step and the map begins to reveal itself. Every step you execute uncovers the next. Excuses keep you standing still, but execution puts you in motion. And once you're in motion, Momentum starts working for you, making the next step easier and the next opportunity clearer. Here's another hook. Excuses make you a prisoner. Execution makes you powerful. When you make excuses, you hand over control to external factors, your past, your environment, your lack of resources. But when you choose execution, you take control back. You say, I may not have everything, but I will use what I do have. I may not know everything, but I will learn along the way. I may not feel ready, but I refuse to wait any longer. That mindset alone separates you from 95% of people who are still explaining why they haven't started. Execution is also a habit. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. Every time you push past an excuse and execute anyway, you build a muscle that makes it easier the next time. And just like a muscle, the more you train it, the more powerful it gets. Soon, execution becomes your default response, and excuses lose their grip on you. Imagine how unstoppable you would become if you made execution automatic. If instead of hesitating, you just acted. If instead of questioning, you just moved forward. That is what winners do. So the question becomes, which story are you telling yourself? Because every excuse is just a story. And the stories you repeat become the reality you live. If you keep telling yourself why you can't, you'll create a life that reflects that limitation. But if you start telling yourself why you must, you'll create a life that reflects that determination. Excuses will always be available, but so will opportunities. The one you choose determines your destiny. Winners choose execution every single time.